Bracket racing isn't just what we do, it's who we are. It's how we identify ourselves.
What does bracket racing mean to me? It's my life. It's where my people are. My idols, my family, my friends.
Bracket racing is life. Bracket life. Hello and welcome back to the Bracket Life broadcast with myself, Brandon Barker, and my co-host, as always, Mr. Andrew Sturck.
G'day, g'day.
Andrew, nice to see you again. Nice to talk to you again and do the broadcast with you.
It is. Some weeks it seems like a short 2 weeks to get back here again, right? So
it does. It really does. But there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
There is a whole pile of stuff. So this week's episode, presented by Lustville Dragway and the Bracket Bonanza Race Week, Drag Week, whatever you want to call it, Bracket Week. I don't know. There's too many names for it. But either way, we're racing for a week and we're racing for a lot of money. So we're going to go over that whole event and the whole week, 2 weekends essentially of racing that Andrew and I are both going to be at, which is going to be also exciting.
Absolutely.
To go for the trip. But so we're going to go through that whole thing right after we get through the Canadian countdown. So since there's a whole bunch to get into, let's dive straight into it. First, we'll actually start, for the Canadian part, we're going to go south into the United States. New Media Dragway, we had some Canadian representation down there. As far as I know, we had 3 racers go, Landon Erslack, Russ Adams, and Jamie Claremont. Russ was able to make it down to semifinals, 4 cars left in the 50. And then Jamie Claremont lost at the round of 8. So some great showings by some Canadians in the South, which is exciting. Great for them to go. I wanted to go to that event, but had other commitments at the next
we'll
one.
get to later on here, right?
Yes,
So,
yes. Yeah. So that was Elliott Lake. That's where I was for the weekend for the North Shore Challenge. We finally got to go back there after 3 years. I guess 2 years of not going, but so we haven't been there since 2019. Went back again, had an awesome turnout. I believe there was right around 300 cars for total entries for it across all the classes. So the boys went up, got the track set up Thursday. We raced Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday Gamblers race started out Super Pro. Kyle Jessup takes the win over Ed Lofstrom, the megalomaniac. So that's how Super Pro went. Semi Pro Eve Beaudry over Rob Rossi. Eve riding the sled there, so great for him. Great work on the Friday night shootout or gamblers race. Saturday jumped in. That's where it was successful for me. I was able to take the 10K win over Bill Harling, and then semi-pro Pat Bolton over Zach McLean. Sled and bike Rick Nadon. I was close with that one. Takes the win. Street was Jim Edwards, and junior dragster was Leah McCaffrey. Then fast forward through to Sunday, Mike Chenier, 10 grand winner over Louis Gagne. Semi-pro was Austin Weaver over Paul Perron. Sled and bike double up for Rick Nadon. And junior dragster was Annabelle Susi. So that's how the weekend went. It was an awesome trip. Glad we can make it. Huge for Bracket Life to get out there and see everyone, meet people, really bring, like, Rachel, I finally got to go somewhere else. So other than the tracks we've normally been hitting. So that was awesome for us. So
be good to see some old friends, and I heard the spectator count was pretty good too. Like everyone, that pent up desire to get back out and see everything again, right? And it sounded like it was pretty good.
Yeah, and it was fun. So it was a blast. So what about you, Andrew? What were you up to?
So that's July 9th and 10th. We went to Cayuga. Race Cayuga Sportsman Series had their NHRA NHRA.TV challenge. Had to make sure I got that one right, which is essentially a Wally race where they hand out Wallies to all the winners. So running through quick, Saturday was the Wally portion of the weekend. They had a great turnout, 200 entries for their event, which for local bracket series is pretty good, right? Cammy, sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was, when we heard it, we see the cars show up. I was real happy to see what they were able to get. It's was a great weekend. Cammy Scott in junior dragster took the win on Saturday. Maya James in junior Conti picked up the win. RCSS modified. So Mark Menicanen. Mark's a great racer from out here. Won a ton. Been a champion at the track multiple times. Picked up the win over Bill Thompson. Bill will come back around because Bill had a busy weekend. Quick sportsman, Kenny Grossi. Kenny talked to me about this. I think I got his name right this time. So Kenny won, was runner-up a couple weeks back at the National Open. Managed to seal the deal this week in Quick Sportsman with a great final over Trevor Deeks, actually. The Deeks boys came down and had a great weekend at Cayuga. Big win for them. Big Wally win. I think it was his first as well. Mike Pereira on bike and sled over Todd Hope, which was a big final. Todd's a great racer, so that was a big win for Mike. Cecilia White in the bike sled Conti for the win. Bill Thompson. So Bill didn't have a junior. And instead of just racing a little less, they elected to double enter his foot brake car in mod and foot brake. And he ends up in foot brake, picking up, I think, his second Wally. And again, almost closed the deal twice with his runner-up in mod there. But big day for them. It was fun to see them going around. It was entertaining at the very least to watch that blue dart going in circles. I couldn't figure out what was happening because I was going in circles too. So it was great to see them. Super Pro rematch from a couple weeks ago. Bob Richards and Blake Sutton squaring off again. They managed at the Nitro Nationals to beat each other up in mod and Super Pro in a couple different finals. Well, again, they beat each other up in another final. This time it was Bob Richards coming out for the Wally win in Super Pro. And Street Eliminator, Austin Harvey, picking up the Wally win on the Saturday for them. So I just met the Harvey family at that event too. Great folks. Their dad, I've forgotten the father's name now. That's awful. Mark. I'm going to not live that one down. Great guy. I was talking to him in the lanes. We were both doubled going rounds and trying to figure out how we were going to make all this work on Saturday when we had to race. So great for them. Sunday, Maya James picking up the win in junior, so taking her Consi win, rolling it over into the main event. Cammy Scott taking her main event win, rolling into a Consi win on Sunday.
There you go.
Rolls there. Dustin Taylor, mod winner. Dustin's been running up all over the place at Cayuga. Was finally able to get the deal closed in the final on Sunday over Robert Andrews, running in a stock eliminator car. It's a great car, 2010 Challenger. Casey Kovacs with a win in Quick Sportsman. Over Tim Knight, RCSS bike sled, Mike Konopacki, another one of those legendary names. Mike's been lighting it up at Cayuga, taking the win. Cecilia White with the bike sled Consi win again on Sunday. Foot brake, Brad Frazier over Gary Rankin, and Super Pro, Casey Kovacs. So we're seeing some familiarity there. Guys getting it done over 2 days with a win over Blake Sutton. I just missed that. So Blake getting to the finals both days in Super Pro. So good points days for him. And then
rolling in that new dragster.
You know what? He was driving the Sunfire.
There you go.
Triple entered. So the dragster was in Quick Sportsman and the Sunfire was in mod and top. So I feel like I taught him that. That's what I do in Grand Bend when we run extreme mod and top up there is the Mustang gets the double duty. The Corvette gets slid over to the fast class. But nonetheless, great weekend for him. And then the lettering on this one's tough and I feel bad. Street Eliminator, I can't read. I think it's Chantel Palmanair. Probably butchered that one, and I feel awful on that. Runner-up, Austin Harvey. So Austin had a good weekend. Getting to the win and runner-up on that one. So you've got results from Miramichi, I think, right?
Yes, sir. Heading down east.
Yes.
This was not the National Open. The National Open will be in 2 weeks. So we've got a bunch of National Opens that are all going on at similar times. So I'm getting them all, making sure I get them straight. So they were able to have a race. This was the 2 weeks ago result. Box on Saturday, Josh Goodwin over Brian Toombs. Looks like Toombs. It's just
I would go with Toombs.
Yeah. No box, Albert Van Wicken over Chad Ramsey. Juniors, Jax Goodwin. So I'm not sure if Jax and Josh are related, but it makes sense, right? Jax and Josh, the Goodwin boys, taking home the wins on Saturday. Sunday, Trevor Cowie over Justin Cummings. In pro, Gerald Sonia It's a different
Silent
way.
Bell. I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Silent L over Robert Cormier, sportsman. Albert Van Wicken over Tony Wakeland. Bike and sled, Remy Hebert over Tony LeBlanc. Juniors, Mackenzie Power over Carter McLean. And that's a quick run through for Miramichi. Where are we headed now, Andrew?
So we're gonna head out to Rad Torque Raceway. We've talked about them a lot. They had a big
Yeah.
3-week stretch. This was the third event of 3 big events for them.
Yes.
And it was the Rocky Mountain Nationals, which is also the NHRA National Open. So they had, I believe they had Nitro Funny Cars there. They had show cars, and they had the National Open set up.
I did see a video of a fuel altered there that looked wicked.
Yeah, I was looking at some video of it too, and it looked like a great show. Seen some jets there. I mean, just the prototypical Nitro National event in Canada, right? So Saturday champions, top sportsman, Graham Foster, top dragster, Jenna Michaud. I'm going to go with the French pronunciation on that one out of assumption. If I'm wrong, someone will correct me. Stock, super stock, Sheldon Erfel. So Sheldon had gone, we talked about him earlier this year. He'd been down to, I think, 4 cars at Vegas. So he's having a pretty good year running in super stock. It's one of the GT conversion cars. Really clean, nice looking. Reed Holland in super comp. Cam McPherson in super gas. Sandy Cossey in super street. Getting into the bracket side, Danny Holmetal in super pro ET. This one's killing me. Steve Brettcroze. I'm going to defer to all our announcer friends. I need to get someone on here to help me with these things. I don't know how the guys do it.
Yeah.
And I apologize if I butcher these. Junior Thunder, Austin, same name. I did miss this. Brettcroze. Assuming there's an announce. I'm going to get this wrong twice, or I'm going to get it right twice. And I apologize to those who I've butchered on. Junior Lightning, Tristan Duchesne, all with the wins on Saturday. Sunday, Rocky Mountain Nationals. Joe Graves, pick up the win, top sportsman. Eric Crooks in top dragster. Darcy Clark in stock, super stock combo. Grant Dury in super comp. Bill Causey, I'm assuming relation to Sandy in super gas. And then Casey Plazier. I think I got Casey's name right there.
Yeah.
Casey runs around a lot in the Division 6, Division 7 super gas, super street world. So we've seen him go rounds. Super pro, Jan Pokorski. Pro ET, Lance Sherchuk. Junior Thunder, Austin B. We're just going to roll with that. Doubles up, Junior Thunder. So 2 wins. And then Tristan Duchesne, same thing, Junior Lightning with the double up. And that's the Rocky Mountain Nationals from Rad Torque Raceway, week 3 of the big 3 races.
Absolutely. So that's awesome for them. They've got a whole lot going on, which, as we talked about before, now getting to know more about the West Coast stuff. There's some huge money going on and some huge races. And for announcing the names, my contact for East Coast stuff that I get, Jason McNeil, he helps me out with all the results there. He does have in the notes, he has kind of spelled out people's names a little bit.
That would be super helpful
to help out. So it's great. So I appreciate that. So now heading to Cape Breton Dragway for the second ADRA race of the year. Box class, rate 2, who I just said. Jason McNeil takes the win over Benny Neaston. No box, and these both gamblers races. No box gamblers. Joey Bonner over Peter Marshall. Bike sled, Donnie Kosnick over Brian Head. And junior dragster, JC Posibon over Brett Metcalf. Now jumping in, Sunday results, Super Pro, Dave Anthony over Brett Ramsey. Jason McNeil, I will mention, got the semifinalists there. Pro class, Glenn Cook over Aaron Crow. Sportsman, Terrell Provo over Henrik Neeson. Bike sled, Glenn Frizzle over Glenn Frizzle. Not sure if that's actually there, but good for Glenn if he did.
Maybe drove 2 entries to the final round, right?
That's right. It's not unheard of. I've been fortunate enough to do that. Junior dragster, Connor Brown over Bryson McNeil. And that's that for the East Coast stuff for the last 2 weeks. Like I said, they've got some big stuff coming up. I believe the long weekend coming up is their National Open.
Yep.
So it should be an awesome race at Miramichi.
Yeah, it sounds like there's quite a few guys from out here. I think making the run because Napierville's next weekend for the National Open.
Yeah.
And then they make the trip out there as part of the Division 1 NHRA National Open Series. So
yeah,
That's be good. That'll be all right. We're going to jump a little bit here. Honorable mention. I kind of missed this. I was going to lump it in with the Rocky Mountain, but Woodburn Drag Strip, Division 6 Divisional, so it's an NHRA division, right? Ed Hutchinson had the runner-up in Super Gas. He's from Victoria, BC. It was neat to see Canadian going to the final round of the divisional there. From there, we're going to go to Medicine Hat. So they had their 30th anniversary of the track, and it was their NHRA National Open event on top of it. So the NHRA classes ran basically one event over 2 days. They ran bracket classes both days. I believe they also had show cars there, funny cars, everything else. It looked like a great event from the pictures I saw of it posted. So Saturday's results, Junior Gamblers, Cole Caron with the win. Non-electronics, I guess no box. Monty Beagle with picking up the win from High River, Alberta. Electronics class, Murray Hawker over Jan Pokorski. We mentioned Jan, so he's making the trip around to all the national opens, doing well there. Sunday, which had all the NHRA classes as well as the bracket classes. So the Super Pro final, Rachel Fleck over Tanner Gates in Super Pro. Pro, Monty Beagle picking up a win over Darcy Fry in Pro ET. Sportsman, Kathy Archibald over Dan Bulpit. Motorcycle, Dave Toff over Zach Toff. Interesting side note, semifinals, Riley Toth.
There you go.
That's a pretty good, and Adam Hetler to not let out Adam or leave him out of this. He was certainly surrounded by uphill battle of Toths by the looks of it here. Super Comp, so getting into the NHRA side of things, Reed Holland over Rick, and this is cut off a bit because of the way the name goes in there, but Rick the Ace Wagner, it kind of gets drawn into the city-state part of the result sheet here. So probably didn't get that one right. Honorable mention, Murray Hawker, who went to the semifinals there. Super Gas, Bill Causey over Dennis White. Super Street, Jerry Brown over Krista Dryden. The Stock Superstop Combo, Sheldon Erfel. So picking up another win over Alf Wiebe. And they ran a super quick. So it's a top dragster, top sportsman combo. Todd Fleck over Mark Simmons for Wally's there. So sounded like a great turnout. They had a great event. It was neat to see the pictures, celebrate their 30th. So it was neat to see get Medicine Hat onto the result sheet.
Absolutely. And a lot of Monty Beagle there. We've talked about Monty before on this. He's, pretty decent. Pretty decent, to say it lightly.
Absolutely. So, he's picking up race results here, there, and everywhere, right? So
absolutely. Cool. Yeah. So great for him. Rolling through now, Shannonville Drags, the second event for them this year. Set up, Saturday, Super Pro. Sorry, just getting my stuff all situated here. My boy Max Goche takes his win. That's his first Super Pro win, and now was in his car. He drove his dad's black Camaro for a few years now. Yep. I think I want to say 6 finals, maybe 7. Lots of opportunities, was never able to do it. Has his own car, has the Vega, takes it out. Did a lot of work on it. Again, took some weekends off from that. Puts it in the winner's circle. So awesome. Good for you, Max.
And this is the first win?
This is his first win in Super Pro, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So no, good
I wasn't sure if it was first in the new car or first in the new car and ever. I didn't quite know that one. That was awesome.
Yeah. So it's been great. Good for him. A lot of work. A lot of time to get there. Semi-pro class was Uncle Glenn Tandy over Larry McDonald. Nostalgia class, Al Senior over Joe Verway. Street, Jay Dobson over Dustin Baldwin. Junior Dragster, Raiden Steen over Carly Parkhurst. Now, they also did a high rollers race for the no box and box classes. Super Pro, Semi-Pro. Tyler Bunnett takes the win in no box, and Chuck Fram Jr. takes the win over Nathan Hoskin in the Super Pro shootout race or high roller race. Now rolling through to Sunday, Becky Goche, so Max's stepmother, takes the win. So the Goche family taking it all home. She won over John Golcomb, Mr. KD. Tyler Bunnett wins, backs up his Saturday night win with a Sunday win. Takes the win over Wayne Shute. Nostalgia, Dave Cardinal over Scott Hollywood. Street, B. Petrin over Dustin Baldwin once again. and then junior dragster Ravenstein over Carly Parkhurst. So a great turnout. It sounded like a great event with 3 races for all the classes, I guess, throughout the weekend. So awesome for that. Lots of racing to get in. Now kind of rounding out our Canadian countdown, the last event we're going to talk about for this. Top Eliminator Edmonton, back to Rad Torque Raceway. Another big money race, $5,000 to win each day. Saturday, Jason Pad takes the win over Ashley Huffman. Comes back Sunday. Jason Pad runners up to Joe Graves, which you talked about Joe earlier, winning Top Sportsman at the Rocky Mountain Nationals. And Joe has won, this is second top E win this year, I believe. So Joe's got it sorted out, and Joe's going fast in that car too, right? In the door car, especially the top E stuff where you're surrounded by fast dragsters. So good for old Joe Graves.
That's a tough world to live in with a fast door car running against just any dragster, right? Just because of the susceptibility of everything. So great to see when a door car is getting it figured out and then doing so well on top of it.
Absolutely. So same as always, that's it for the Canadian Countdown. Make sure if you have a big win, have a big weekend, know somebody or see somebody have a great weekend, make sure you share it. Let us know. Go on the Bracket Life brand website. Go on the winners page of it. Fill that information out. Let us know. We loved hearing about it and talking about all the special stuff that really happens, right? We can list the results, but we don't get to know the real good details that the people have, right? We want to celebrate those wins with you. So make sure you go for that.
Reasons that you won or overcome or stuff that you overcame to do it, right? That's what we're trying to do here and share those stories, right?
Absolutely. So Andrew, now we'll whip in, we'll get back, go kind of full circle so far. We'll talk about the Bracket Bonanza week coming up. We have a quick video here, the advertisement, we'll run that, and then we'll get into it.
Of the year, the Super Tour Bracket Bonanza, presented by W.O. Stinson and Napa Auto Parts in collaboration with Ogilvy Twin Fleet Service and West Carlton Automotive. July 28th to 31st, Losville Dragway will host a whole week of activities with 4 days of racing. 3 $10,000 to win races for Super Pros, 3 $2,000 to win races for Pro Class, and 2 $1,000 to win races for Junior Dragsters. Thursday, the Big Dog Shootout, the Pro Gamblers Race, and their 330 feet shootout. Friday, the biggest golf cart race in Canada, and the Angers Party with bacon. Saturday, the Pro 1 Burnout Contest, the steak dinner, and live show with rock band Ambush. From July 28th to 31st, it's Bonanza Week at Clausville Dragway. For more infos and full schedule, bracketsupertour.ca and the Facebook page.
They did a great job on that video. I love that video. If that doesn't get you wound up to go, then I'm not sure what really will for that.
Every time this week I've been working on stuff and I've kind of hit that lull of like, oh, I don't want to do anymore. I think I just turn the video on and then I get amped up again and away we go, right?
Yeah, it's great. So that talks about the Bracket Bonanza itself, but for the whole week or 2 weekends, we have the Little Bracket coming up, the Dave Rennie Auto Care Little Bracket, the first weekend, July 23rd, 24th, which will start it off. That for Super Pro, we race for $5,000 both Saturday and Sunday. That also has the door car shootout on the Saturday night. So $100, door cars only. Shootout race, no buybacks, straight in. All the money gets paid out. So that'll be a great opportunity. I do need, if somebody out there wants to let me race a door car in the shootout, then just let me know. I'm there. I'm going to be at the racetrack. And we
come by my pit. If you fit in one of my 2 cars, I'm sure it's going to be hard to double that one. We'll see what we can figure out for you, right?
Sounds good. Sounds good. I see. It's good that we did this on the show because then, like, if you say no, then right, I kind of like ask indirectly, right? Then it's awkward if you say no in front of everybody.
That's exactly. Yeah, I don't know about that part. Right?
Yeah, we'll see. And then semi-pro also race for $1,000 each day for that, and that's also a great deal. So it's making sure I want to verify this. It's $350 for the weekend for Super Pro. Yes, $350. Sorry, wanted to confirm that. Didn't want to be giving anybody different numbers for $5,000 each day. So that's a great deal for one. And then you have do that. Come show up Friday night, Saturday morning, whatever you want. Race Saturday, Sunday. Take Monday, Tuesday off. Wednesday off as well. Hang out for a little bit, as what you're going to do. So if anybody else is thinking about coming for the week, come hang out with Andrew. Andrew's going to Ottawa for a bit, going to explore.
We're finally coming up there.
Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot going on through the week to do. They're going golfing Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. There's a rock climbing thing that they can do, and then some people are going to the beach as well. So that's all set up. If you want more information, same thing, Bracket Super Tour on Facebook. Go to Lustville Dragway on Facebook. Go to the website. Arnie's got everything laid out for all the information.
Actually, if you go to the Lustville site, Arnie did put together a sign-up thing for the Drag Week 2022 with actually all the information. So if you're looking at going for the whole week, it gives you all the contact info for the golf tournament, for the go-kart racing, for the mountain climbing. There's fuel delivery from Stinson's as well, that if you need fuel throughout the week, can't bring 5 or 6 drums with you, need to have a couple brought in. I believe there's contact there. There's actually motorhome pumping as well. Seems like a weird thing to talk about, but welcome to Bracket Life. These are real life issues when you're at a track for a week, holding tanks, hold so much. So they've arranged to have that done. I think it was Wednesday again, contact. And so there's actually a great little sheet on the Lustville Facebook group for that contact info for all those things leading into the Bonanza after the little bracket the weekend before that fills the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in between, which was neat. I have to admit, it's frustrating sometimes when you try to plan to go racing. Like we've gone down and spent a week racing the US and it's 2 events, right? It's 2 different tracks and you're trying to coordinate things to do and you know, what are you going to do for a couple of days? Where are you going to dump tanks? Where am I going to find fuel? And because all this happening at one track, they've done a good job in kind of coordinating all the things to do, things you're going to need, things that you're not thinking about probably. There was a couple of things I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So great info on there to bridge that gap between the 2 races in between.
Absolutely. And then to add on to the, you know, all that part of it, for people that are coming that do want to pick up whatever it is, beer, say, for example, that, you know, when you go to Quebec, it is a fair amount cheaper than buying in Ontario. There is a spot just down the road from Lustville. Talk to some people when you get there. Either if you have, you know, your motorhome and trailer, you can't make it up. Somebody's driving there. Somebody can get you a car to drive there, help it out, all that stuff, right? It's just everybody's a ball of help for the whole week. So it's going to be great. So then we start racing Thursday, getting through it. And this is going to be like heavy money all week long. Big dog shootout. This $100, $200 to enter. It pays back everything that comes in from the entry fees. So normally there is over 10 grand in payouts there. And then, you know, racers can split it up, do whatever they want to do as they get rolling through. But the big dog's always great. That's something also I have never won the big dog shootout. I have won at the Bracket Bonanza, but never on, which was normally the Friday. But so I haven't done that yet. So
that's on the list. That
is on the list. It is coming. That also is going to be followed by the 3:30 shootout, which we've never done as well. Yep. That's going to be fun. It's an idea Derek came up with. Wants to do it. We're to do it.
It's flat out an 8-mile shootout. It's 8-mile bracket racing in big cars, right? Yeah. You see this in juniors. Out our way, we have Junior Outlaw, which is essentially a 3:30 bracket race for juniors, no holes barred. This is the big car version, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, correct. So there is no mile an hour, nothing. Like you have your 3:30 ET, you get your 6 or your 60 foot. That's fine, but that's it. You don't have a mile an hour. You're just guessing at it and going for it. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. That's $50 to get in, and then pays back also 100%, and is a fun race, right? Just something different that we're all gonna get into that I'm really excited for. Friday night is, yes, it is. It is the Angers party. The 100%. No, Friday night is. Sorry, I was still talking about Thursday. Getting ahead of it. Friday night we can roll over. We have the Angers party. As you noticed in the advertisement there, it did talk about bacon. Andrew, you talked about the flyer before.
Yeah.
Random that there's just bacon on it.
I've looked at a lot of flyers. I've seen a lot of numbers. You see big numbers. You see 100K, million. You see 10s, 20s, this, that. The only thing I've never seen on a flyer was bacon and advertised as such as a drawing point. Like we've literally glossed over the fact that there's 10,000 to win in Super Pro on Friday and 2,000 to win in Pro on Friday. Yeah. The fact that Saturday night there's a party and there's bacon. And I'm being told I dismissed this initially because I was like, what is this? I've been
Yeah.
told this can't miss aspect of it. No different than the stake part of it. So without glossing past the racing part, which is actually the first big official day, like the first
Yep.
day of the big payouts in the sense of the Super Tour style payouts, right?
Correct.
You can look forward to bacon party at the end with apparently the greatest bacon you ever had in your life.
Yeah. It's excellent. I love it. But absolutely, I did skip through that because I was very excited for that part. I always get too excited about the bacon. But we're racing for $10,000 Friday. We race for $10,000 Saturday, $10,000 on Sunday. All 3 days in Super Pro. That's for $650. Pro, all 3 days race for $2,000, $250 for the weekend. So both great deals, right? Not terrible for the money that's getting paid out. So, like we said, then we have the Angers party. Friday night is also the golf cart race. So
There's a lot of activities.
There's a lot of activities. I'm
7
trying to
days.
scroll. I'm trying to keep through the flyer
Yeah.
as we find it, right? And then, like you said, everywhere you kind of look, you just find something else there.
Yeah, we were talking about this off air. It was like every time I look at the flyer, I feel like I find something else that like I glossed through and forgot about, or missed the first time around, right? Even juniors, like it's like 150 to enter for Saturday, Sunday, and it's 1,000 to win each day.
Correct.
In junior dragster, right?
Yes. So that's awesome, right? That's a great deal and a great payout for those junior racers. Yep. So we'll go through that. Then we get, all that we've already talked about, and we're just finishing Friday night.
Yeah.
Roll over Saturday, do the race, run for $10,000, run for $2,000 in semi-pro. Juniors start out. Saturday night, we have the live band and steak dinner. Yep. Ambush, great band, cover band, all that stuff. But they're a good party. They've been there a bunch of times before. Steak dinner is always excellent. You do have the option. You can pick up your steak, take it back to your own pit, cook it, or they do have a great big barbecue or grill set up to have it cooked right in the pits, sides, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. We all head to the other side, like the spectator side of the racetrack, to do that. And then I think it's just before you eat your steak, we have the Burnout Competition or Burnout Contest presented by Pro One. That was
interesting.
Yes. So if you did see also in the video, if you were able to watch this and aren't listening to it on a podcast form, there was the Flying Frog was out there ripping a wicked burnout. That was the Burnout Contest winner last year, and they were all in. The Frog was all in for that. So we'll see if they come back and can defend their championship again.
Well, that's a neat format. So second time trial, because I saw the advertisement for, right?
Yes.
The Super Tour, like every day has the countdown going. They're on day 10 on countdown right now for the bonanza part of it, right, of the race week. And second time trial Saturday is the qualifier. So that's the round you go out, lay down a run that would make you eligible to go in. And Saturday night after the main event, they bring back the finalists. I'm not sure how that's determined, but they didn't say it, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure it'll be pretty evident when we figure out who should be there. And they come back for the final, which is where the video of the final from last year came up, right?
Correct.
So neat. Like, I mean, you see wheel stand competitions, right? Norwalks, had their what do they call it? The
I can't think of it either because I've seen it.
It's like a picture in my head. Air show.
Yes.
The air show. Right. Don't often, and it's funny because in drag racing, I mean, we see burnouts all the time. It seems like it's just like a type of thing where it's faux pas now. No one cares because we do a burnout every run of every pass. Not often you see a burnout competition at the drag strip. So I'm kind of intrigued and looking forward to this because I feel like this is going to be interesting to watch. Right.
No, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And then Sunday we'll wrap it up with the final 10K race. That is, so for the main events, if you have kept track so far and you're coming for Super Pro for both weekends, that's $40,000 just to win.
Just on that second weekend.
Just to win. Yeah. Absolutely. So, and there's lots of opportunities. That doesn't include the door car shootout that you have a chance to win. That also does not include the 5-day bracket championship that is presented by Precision Concrete Finishing and Bracket Life Brand. So Kyle Jessup and I teamed up on this one, set up 5-day for all the main event races. So that would be the Saturday, Sunday of the little bracket, as well as Friday, Saturday, Sunday following for the bracket bonanza. So you keep that up all those days, 1 point per round win, go through whoever collects it, kind of an MVP idea of it, and then made it into a point series. $50 to get into that. You win that pays for your week for a single entry. That covers it. $1,200 to win, $500 to the runner-up, $300 to third place, as well as we have gift certificates to Pro One Safety Canada for fourth and fifth place. So double entries if you're doubling the whole time, as I will be, as I'd imagine you will be. Jump in with both shots, and then we'll do the try and do the points series rate or the points totals right after the race, kind of update it per day, go from that. So it should be awesome. Add a little bit more excitement to it. Then Sunday, say you had a great week before, Sunday wasn't as good. There's still a way you can still make money on that, right? You finish off strong. So and you don't have to win an event to still win your money back, your $1,200 in the championship.
Go rounds on 5 straight days, and you're in the hunt, right? So
for sure. So I'm excited. We haven't done something like this here, so we've been kind of looking at different ways to keep it exciting. This is an idea that Kyle had brought to me, and then I'm like, I love it. Love the plan. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see who does win, and
it has a bit of that like Moroso 5-day touch to it, right? Like back in the old day where they had the 5-day championship. This one's spread out just a touch more because it's over the 2 weekend versus like 5 consecutive days. But I like the idea. I've always thought that was neat when you get into these bigger events that have multi-day setups, right? Because I have to admit, at the end of them, some days I've left those larger events and looked at it and went like, who, we saw who won each day, who kind of won the week.
Yeah.
Right. Because you see guys going rounds all the time and you don't always get rewarded for that. Right. If you go to these big events, and that's tough to do. I mean, you get 5 days of racing, and you're putting up a round 6 finish every day. You're not going to get rewarded with a big check, but you've done something. Right. And I kind of like these ideas because it does put you on a bit of a pedestal and show, okay, like you were by far the most consistent, guy or girl over these 5 days. Right.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a neat concept. I really like it,
I agree. And that's the fun part of the whole thing. But either way, it's going to be a great event. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to have that different feel to it. I think it's going to be really big. There's going to be a lot of people, obviously, hopefully coming from your area, a lot of people from Quebec City area, some people coming from the north. It's going to be great. I think it's going to be massive.
I think so too, and I think it's going to be good. Like I've talked to a lot of people out here that it's on their radar, right? Mm-hmm. Like they're looking at it in previous years. It's not something we've talked about much out here. Eastern racing in general, it's one of those things, right? East and West have always had that Toronto divide line, right? East doesn't go West much, West doesn't go East much. I think this year in general. I'm not trying to go off topic too much, right? But with the Bonanza, the way it's set up this year, and then with the 660 Nationals in August coming up, there's been a lot more discussion, I feel, about East and West traversing back and forth, which is going to be fun. Something I didn't want to gloss over too, and I feel like I sit here as a bit of an example of that Western racer who doesn't know much about the East. I mean, we didn't talk much about Luskville itself, right? The track. A few years ago, new surface. Right. Yep.
I think that was only 2 years ago. Like this
2 years ago. Yeah, like
it's 2 year on it.
Yeah. So flat, new concrete asphalt, concrete, right?
Concrete from the water box to I want to say 700 feet almost.
Yeah. So the surface, right? I talked to Arnie about it. He's like, washrooms, showers, they're set up for the week. New concrete race surface, only a couple years old, right? And some fast stuff runs there. I mean, your father-in-law, Mike, I mean, he's running around, a 440 blown dragster, right?
Yeah, he's went 40s in there. Cincerelli goes 40s. For door cars even, Mike Chenier goes rounds every weekend going 490 in his Corvette. Brock goes 520s, 50s.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brock was the next guy I was thinking of. Like, that's a fast door car that, goes rounds there, no problem. There's a video of, I hate to bring it up, of one of the Angers brothers with the broke axle. I mean, that Chevy 2, that thing, was on its bumper until one of the axles decided he didn't want to be there anymore. I know that feeling. I've been there, just
absolutely
not as extreme, right? Like, this track works from what I've been able to see and what you see there every week. I mean, you're not going rounds and quick stuff like that unless you've got something to run on, right?
That's right. And I need to see. I believe that this weekend, it doesn't say on the flyer for it. I'm not sure. Oh, no, there it is. Yes, the 41st Annual Bracket Bonanza.
41 years.
41 years.
Yeah.
The Bracket Bonanza has been going on, paying big money racing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, was one of the first big money races in Canada. Still is the most consistent place to race for big money in Canada. So that's awesome. It's got to show you something that, hey, obviously they're doing something right over there.
Yeah.
So
when it teamed up with the Super Tour part of it just makes it bigger, right?
Yes.
It takes an event that's already got an elite name. And then, I'm looking forward to it. I've taken flack for years and years and years from everyone, including yourself, east of Toronto, that I've never made a trip east, right? Outside of hitting below the border and heading east that way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. We're making the family trip out of it, right? We're coming out. We're leaving Friday to go out there. My wife, my daughter are coming with us. We plan to go to Ottawa for a couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? To take in, because it's 30 minutes from Ottawa. Like, this is kind of what I've been pitching to people, was like, if there was an opportunity to take a vacation, and if you can't go south or you can't do this is great. A lot of racing with ability to go do the family thing for a few days, in a world-class city, right? In Ottawa, right? So we've already had a bunch of things planned to go do. And then I get back to the track. I'm going back to the track Wednesday, because I don't think I could stay in a hotel room Wednesday night, knowing that Thursday's race day. That wouldn't, I would be too antsy to, be that far from the track. I've never did well when we were traveling when we were younger, before we had motorhomes. It's like, if it's race day and I'm at a hotel, I don't do well. I got to be at the track. I would sleep at the track if I could, back when I was a kid. But I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be fun. For those who are just coming for the Bonanza, I talked to a few different folks who are leaving like Wednesday night to be there for Thursday. Thursday racing doesn't kick off until, I think, is it noon or 1?
It's noon or 1. Yeah.
Right. So it's not like you got to be there for, early Wednesday, to be there for like 9 a.m. Thursday, right? It's not an early start Thursday. So there's lots of opportunity to fly in there late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and still get in on all the action, right?
And for those races, if you show up Wednesday night, Thursday morning before the Big Dog Shootout, you will race in Super Pro for $800, $850. You will race for $40,000 to win for that over those 4 events. Like, that is money that you have up there. That's a great deal for one weekend at the same place, and it's a full experience too. Right? Yeah. You're not just getting the racing in. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I love it. I love going there. Yeah. I always have a blast with it. I'm excited for you to go and have a great time as well, and for everybody else to come and see what it's like here. And it will not be easy to win. No. Like, these races are gonna be a bloodbath. That's what
I've seen. The stat sheets that have come out of those races, and it's like, you see the lines if you don't have a tight track with great racers, right? Yeah. The box scores are pretty crazy, to be honest with you, at times. Something else of noteworthiness too, because it's been a discussion out here, and we've talked about it in general. Door cars and dragsters are split. It's a split deal, right? So I think if you're doubled, we've talked about this. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think if you're doubled in a door, you can run on the dragster side as you're double to break it up a little bit. Dragsters can't go to the door. Dragster's got to double on the dragster side, right? But, basically it comes down to, if it's one dragster, one door car left, there's your final round.
That's right.
They're split as far as they can go, right? So for those who like that format, it's there. I think I'm going to probably throw the Mustang on the dragster side and just make the dragster guy's life harder. I don't want to say hell, because that assumes I'm going to put up good runs. And I'm going in with high confidence but low expectations, to be really honest with you. But I'm contemplating doing that, running the vet on the door car side, just to try to split it up a little bit. I don't want to be the guy holding the show up in my first endeavor out east. So we're going to try that. If that doesn't work, then I'll just put my tail between my legs and put both cars back on the door car side if that seems to be better, but I doubt it will be. So
I hear you.
uh,
It'll be
yeah,
fun. It'll be exciting.
I think
So
so.
for everybody checking it out, if you're watching the show, let us know in the comments if you're coming. I'd love to hear about everybody that's coming or know who's going to be there. Get an idea for it. Gets everybody wound up, right? And then if you want to get in on the 5-day bracket championship, let me know. Same thing. Send me a message. We'll get you on. Not a huge deal, right? We'll kind of be around. We'll pick up. We'll do the money and stuff and get everybody's name at the event. So you don't need to worry about any of that. But just getting everybody excited, right? I'm wound up.
Should be
I'm ready
fun.
to go.
Should be very fun.
So we'll take kind of we'll slow it down a little bit, head in a different mood to finish out the show. Andrew, we're going to talk about some stuff going on out your way at the races now.
So yeah, this past weekend, so I'm probably opening a can of worms, and as you know, once you open the lid on this type of stuff, it's hard to put it back on, and whatnot. But it was an interesting conversation that started, I think, early in the weekend, and it actually came out of a camp that I wouldn't expect it to. So it was the Ontario Nostalgia Drag Racers, ONDR, put a post up about outlawing essentially traction control. It started off with the grid, but it switched up that, they've officially made a rule that, the ARC module or the 7531 box essentially was going to be illegal in their series. And for some backstory on that, ONDR is a nostalgia series. It's a bottom bulb foot brake, like I think it's 74. It might be a little looser than that, but it's essentially a fun nostalgia series. And it kind of took me aback because I was shocked to kind of see this conversation start out of here. This is, a lot of great people in there. I have a lot of friends who run in it and enjoy it. And it was a very serious tone. We've talked about traction control and ARC modules and, various cheating devices on previous podcasts we've had. And it took me by surprise that this was coming out of the ONDR camp. So it kind of sparked a conversation a little bit behind the scene, a little bit online about, well, where did this come from, right? Why is ONDR kind of taking a lead on, talking about this and what they're, not going to allow from here forward? And the conversation kind of started to go sideways when all of a sudden it was like, yeah, like there are cars running around Ontario, presumably, and I say that as a, this is not known fact. This is where this conversation started on their end that, do you have these devices? They have the ARC module set up in them and they're running them. And I got to admit, it got under my skin a bit because it really started that conversation of, well, what are we doing in tech? In general, not just an ONDR thing. This isn't, anything to do with them. They just started to feel like a valuable conversation of what are we doing out here to check cars? Because over the years, I've heard guys saying, well, that car has an ARC module in it, right? And it was kind of one of those things where it was, pointing fingers, right? And no one likes that. I mean, I've been successful enough. I've had it done. I've had people tech my cars, and go through them. And when they saw my analog 6AL box in my car and the fact that there was nothing else, it was kind of like, are we good? And we're good. There's nothing else to it. But the problem is I feel like no one's really paying attention to this. And it bugs me because it's really not a difficult subject. It's back to that basic tech thing, right? Are we doing basic tech or not? I mean, you can get into discussions on insurance, on belts and helmets being in tech, but at the same time, is anyone looking at stuff both from a safety and, class legality standpoint, right? And I feel like this is a fundamental thing that isn't that difficult. I mean, you can go on MSD's website and learn how an ARC module works. And to be honest, become pretty fluent in teching it over the course of a 7-minute and 40-second video. They have a device you can buy from MSD just for checking the grid to determine if an ARC module is plugged in right now. Because if you go look at the current grid plugins, an ARC module sticker can be peeled off and it can look just like a 3-step.
Yeah.
It's simply getting a sticker made. If you can't get a sticker made in this day and age that duplicates something, then you're not looking hard enough, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So this device is $199 US. I have one ordered from Motor State right now. I guess this is a shout out to Motor State. I didn't mean to plug them per se, but there you go. It's not a hard device. It's on back order, but it'll come. You plug it in, it'll tell you two things. One, is there an ARC module plugged into this right now? Two, has there been an ARC module plugged into this in the last hour of runtime? So what I'm trying to get at with this is that this isn't some sort of black art. No one understands how this works. This is simple stuff. And if there is issues coming out, and if the ONDR has identified an issue that they think they're seeing inside there, what are the rest of us who are running in electronics or non-electronics classes in the more serious series? I take that lightly because I don't want to think that any one series is more serious than another.
Yeah.
But there are bigger payout, bigger repercussion type series that have world championship implications to them, right? For the super series or bracket finals or things like that, that aren't being checked. And I'm at that point, I guess I'm going to ask the question, why not? This isn't rocket science. If we're going to start checking cars, again, because COVID's on its way out the door, I guess we use that term loosely, don't want to jinx the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And we're going to get back to doing stuff. It's not that hard to check these things. It's not that hard to get educated to check these things. And even if we don't want to do it to every car and every class pre-eliminations, like pre-race day, pull back some cars and lanes and go do it. It's going to take 15 minutes. Why aren't we doing this? If there's concern. And if there's people who know that it exists out there, then I implore you to actually do something about it if you're part of a race series or a track or an association. Because in all honesty, all it's going to do is feed into the BS that starts with finger pointing. And the second stuff starts getting thrown around is the second that stuff goes sideways. Nobody who's doing this the right way, who's winning on merit and skill, wants to be caught up in anything.
Correct.
So take the time and figure it out, right? I'm not pointing any fingers at any one person, team, or series, or track. This is simply a conversation that, in general, needs to happen because it happens nowhere, right? And it got under my skin because, in all honesty, this isn't something that the ONDR should necessarily be leading the charge on. They're a fun, great little series. I enjoy every part about them. When it comes to all the people that are involved in it and what they do at times, why are they the ones having the conversation?
It's very surprising to me because, for all the same reasons that you said before, it is, I believe, pre-1974 race cars. So I'm surprised that they would allow a grid in it anyways.
Well,
just for that point.
In their defense on that, like there was a conversation on that too. That was a sidestep. They realized a while ago it's next to impossible to try to keep everything new out. I mean, if you wanted to build a 74, pre-74 anything right now, go find something with points.
Yeah,
go
you're
find
not going to get
old. Yeah, you're just not, right? You know, and I think that makes sense. I mean, that's just a modern thing. I mean, there's a side point to this. Maybe we can have one day, but what is nostalgia, right? Nostalgia to you and I is different than others. But, you know, like they have to, they know this is what they have to do to exist as a fun nostalgia-based series to allow some of this stuff in. And all of a sudden they had that wake-up call that there are things that make this uneven, right? You know, they've reacted to it, right? And I don't think they reacted wrong to it. They jumped a little bit when they needed to. There was education needed to happen before they made their initial thought. But, you know, that's racing. It happens all the time, right? Yeah. Every week, NHRA comes down with a new supercharger rule for pro modified. That's probably a knee-jerk reaction to someone doing something spectacular they can't repeat. But that's racing, right? Get it right in the end, and no one's going to be mad. But this is one of those things that, why isn't everyone else talking about this or doing it? Why have I never been checked? Like, I have no problem with it. You come over and look at any of my stuff anytime. And I feel like anyone with any ability or merit would do the same thing. It's never been done. Never gets done. And if there are devices out there and there are people running around with it, and it's not that hard to do, then do it.
Absolutely. So I'm excited to see when you get the unit for testing the ignition systems and checking that all to see, for one, how it works, and then kind of just where it kind of leads from that, right? Who knows what can happen, or if series want to use it, or if event and promoters want to start using that. Do I think it's necessarily something in my area where I race? It's not a thought that really comes up. But also the same hand, we've tried this before. Everything is so tight. How do you really tell whether that car is just really good or that guy is cheating per se? So and then you start singling people out and doing stuff, and then there is a can of worms that does get opened up off the cliff.
Absolutely, right? Like, I know there's an argument made, like, well, go check the car that's run dead on all day. Well, listen, I have seen other people. They've run dead on all day. They've had a good day where they've made good predictions with their car. Like, success shouldn't be an indicator of cheating. Success should be an indicator of success. You've done something right. But when there's faith issues and whether something's right or wrong, okay, now you bring in questions, and I hate to see someone's success be sullied just because there's finger pointing, because we didn't go far enough as a series or promotion or a track to verify that everyone's on the same field, right? Particularly if it's known that it's not, right? That's that part. I think eats away a bit more if you heard that rumor, and that's the worst part. It's rumor. So you check stuff. I mean, all the big money racers have some sort of system in place to do it.
Yeah.
Not that we run for big money everywhere we go. I mean, we don't. And that, that's not the reason I say they should be checked. I mean, an $800 to win purse is just as valuable to some people because of what they can do than the $80,000 to win purse. But if there's question marks about people running around, this only breeds bad things.
Correct.
So nip it in the bud, fix it, make it easy. It's not hard to do. In fact, the device, the MSD device for checking it, I talked with Michael Beard prior to the show. Loose Rocker, very big promotion series, put on big events. He has a sheet from MSD that outlines what to look for. You can check grids on the indicator lights that come on when the grids turn on to see if an ARC module is plugged in currently. Doesn't tell you if one has been, but it tells you if there's one right now. That's it's as simple as going up to a guy and saying, turn your ignition on right now. And the first 10 seconds of the indicator light will tell you whether there's an ARC module plugged into that thing right at this second. How hard is that?
Yeah, it's interesting to learn more about it and see what other people do. So we'll kind of go from there and see where it kind of brings us. Like I said, I'm excited to see what it is that you come up with when your unit gets there. We were hoping that it was going to be ready for when he came our way, and then we had some cars we could hook up to.
Well, I'm still back ordered in this day and age. Doesn't mean forever. It could mean 2 days from now there's a package sitting here, or 2 months from now, or like the gear set I ordered in October for the Super Stock Camaro, 7 months, 8 months, 9.
Longer than it should have taken, right?
Absolutely. So so I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'll have to find some cars. I don't have any grid stuff, right? Yeah. I've got 7 ALs that don't do much else other than basically analog functions, but we'll find a car, we'll hook it up, and we'll figure this out. I don't know. I probably jumped the gun a bit, but I'm like, you know what? If no one has it, I'll go buy it. Drew Buckner of the 660 series talked to me about it, and he said, if you go get it, we'll use it and might even buy it off him. I'm like, all right, that's no problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? But like, he understands it. So maybe this is a bit of a talk about his race, and I don't mean to overshadow the Bonanza race that we talked about by any means at all. But like, there's a guy who understands. He's doing a lot of things to try to make his race stand out right too. And he saw the value in that, going, well, if there's any questions, let's eliminate questions, right?
Absolutely.
But and that's just my general thought. Whether you're running for 800 or 80,000, right? Let's just make sure it's square.
That's right. I agree. So it's a great topic to bring up. Obviously, it was brought to your attention, so great to get it out there. And then if people are nervous about it or thinking about it, then all that needs to get sorted out. You can't just let it keep rolling. If there is a serious problem or seriously something going on,
just accusations.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Accusations.
So that also can't be thrown around if it's not actually happening. Yeah. Right. So, but it's interesting to see. We'll see where it goes when we can start figuring that stuff out, and once we kind of look at different solutions or ways to deal with the potential of the problem.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I agree.
that's about it for tonight. So another great show, another great time to be here with everybody. Lots of exciting stuff. Obviously, really busy with I was in Elliott Lake. Now I'm currently in Toronto, actually at a conference, the Ontario Transportation Expo. Here until tomorrow. So that was an early Monday morning, getting up to come here, doing this, getting home, getting ready to go, heading to Luskville on Friday, and then there and race, try and make some money.
Another busy week on top of that. Be a short week next week for you. Again,
Yes,
right? Go
it will
home,
be.
turn around, come back in time for the Thursday Gambler, right?
That's right. That's right. We're going home because next Wednesday, my great grandfather turns 96.
Oh,
So
nice.
we're gonna do something with him on the Wednesday, and then we'll head back up to the racetrack and go from there and see what we can do. So anybody, like I said, interested in the 5-day bracket championships, shoot me a message. Let me know. Any other questions, information you want, ask me. Ask Andrew. Andrew's looked into a whole bunch of stuff. There's lots of resources out there. Go to luskvilledragway.com, bracketsupertour.ca, all those different options. There's lots of information, things to do, and people to talk to. So everybody wants to support it. Make it a great event. If you're, hope to see everybody there or as many people as we can. I'd love for this one to be massive. Just adds up to it. If I win, it just makes it a better story when there's 120 cars that I go through. So that kind of deal. So I'm excited to see what happens. We'll go from there. Thank you again, Andrew. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks everybody for listening. If you're listening to this on the podcast later on, check all that stuff out. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you guys in 2 weeks with a full Bracket Bonanza recap.
Should be fun.
Absolutely. Have a good one, guys.
Of the year, the Super Tour Bracket Bonanza, presented by W.O. Stinson and Napa Auto Parts in collaboration with Ogilvy Twin Fleet Service and West Carlton Automotive. July 28th to 31st, Luskville Dragway will host a whole week of activities with 4 days of racing. 3 $10,000 to win races for Super Pros, 3 $2,000 to win races for Pro Class, and 2 $1,000 to win races for Junior Dragsters. Thursday, the Big Dog Shootout, the Pro Gamblers Race, and their 330 feet shootout. Friday, the biggest golf cart race in Canada, and the Angers Party with bacon. Saturday, the Pro 1 Burnout Contest, the steak dinner, and live show with rock band Ambush. From July 28th to 31st, it's Bonanza Week at Luskville Dragway. For more info and full schedule, bracketsupertour.ca and the Facebook page.